Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you've all had a super fantastic, sparkling, shake it up Saturday. My Saturday has been shaken to the core. Oh, yeah. This is what happens when you do a weekend class. Yes, it's fun. So, first of all, I forgot to take a question. I am so... Anyway, so what did you get up to today? What did you try that was new? What did you try that shook up your Saturday? What did you challenge yourself to do today? So we had day one of the IGHR, which is Institute of Genealogy and History Research, I think it is. Research. I think the R is for research. Must be. It's to do with genealogy. What else do you do with genealogy? Anyway, but we had an incredible day. We started the morning started at 7 o'clock. So 6:30, I was walking Zephy this morning. She was happy to go for a walk, but it threw her off her schedule today. Totally threw her off her schedule, because we normally don't go for a walk till between 7 and 7:30. So I'm going like almost, a whole 30 minutes at least earlier than what we normally go. So yeah, she wasn't quite sure about that, but she went for her walk. We came back. I think I had a banana. I had a banana before we went for a walk, and I came back. And by the time I got that done, got the live done this morning, it was time to get onto the Zoom. And they put you onto a meeting. You go down to the breakout rooms, and you can select which breakout room you want to go to. So I've been on breakout rooms from basically since 7 o'clock this morning through to 3 o'clock this afternoon. So that's what, 6 hours. And we had an hour break for lunch. And we did have 15-minute breaks between each class, so that the first one would start at 7 o'clock, go to 7:30. Then you had a 15-minute break before the next one started at 7:45 and went to 8:15, and a 15-minute. And so they were half-hour presentations with 15-minute breaks between, which was nice. And then of course they announced at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time that it was now lunch break, and be back at it's 12:30 Eastern, back at 1:30. So for us here on the West Coast and in those in Arizona, it was we had a lunch break at 9:30 and came back at 10:30. And I'm like, lunch break? And by this stage, Zephy was like pacing. And I'm like, what's up with you? So I thought, we got time? We got time. So we hopped in the car and went out and got breakfast. And that's not the ideal thing to do, but I was just like, And when we got back from that, she was really performing in the back of the car. So I put a leash on her and we went for a walk down to the grass area. She did her thing and we came back again. I'm like, okay, so we really did throw you off your schedule this morning. And as soon as we got back, of course, she hops up next to me because she wants the egg out of the sandwich that I had. And she wanted some hash browns too. She loves the hash browns. She loves the eggs. So she sat here and getting little tidbits from me, and I sat here and ate my breakfast, brunch, whatever. But then, yeah, every time they took that 15-minute break, it was good because I would get up, walk around. Zephy would get loving time because she's basically stayed up on her bed on the dash. So I'd go up and give her some scratches and cuddles and things, and then be a bathroom break, and then it would be grab something to grab a snack and fill up the water bottle. We were going through one of these every 30 minutes because I was filling them up every break. I was filling it up. And we had like 7 classes, I think it was today. But we're basically, the event has been sponsored by FamilySearch.org, which is the big, massive database. And I don't use that site as much as I probably should. And today I learned a whole bunch. I'm sitting here going, what? They now have over 1 billion records online, over 1 billion. And they have a whole bunch that's been on microfiche, which they have been digitizing. So you can actually, instead of having to see the microfiche image, they're actually now digitizing it and indexing. So they've got this project going where they are digitizing all of the microfiche and the microfilms, and they are going through and indexing them all. So if there's a little camera picture next to it, means it's been digitized. If there's a little magnifying glass next to it, it means it's been indexed or partially indexed. And so they're getting, so it's been sort of like, oh, I didn't even know half of this stuff was there because I don't use that site very much. I use it as a reference point at some point, but I already knew about the wiki page, but I just didn't realize how much in depth the Family Search wiki page was and what you can find out in there. And I was like, oh my God, I am, yeah. Let's just say, and then I learned that there's 2 different types of trees on the Family Search org. There is the one that you own that is non-editable except for by you. So it's basically a fixed tree. And I'm like, oh, because I knew about the community tree. The community tree is one big tree that everybody contributes to, and you can go in and change the information. If you find wrong information, you go and correct it. You put your sources up there and all that, but you can still have all of your sources up there and everything, and somebody else can come along and go, no, that's not correct. That's not what's in my tree, and they'll change it to theirs, which is kind of a little annoying because they don't put any sources up, and you've got all the sources, so you go back and change back. But they also have the fixed trees, which are ones that you have submitted and have been put into a separate area where other people can't get at them, which I like. And it turns out that all of those, when I was telling you the other day about how we've got access, they've given us these trees that says, you're the 13th, I'm the 14th cousin of Princess Diana, the 14th cousin of Elvis Presley. And I had Buffalo Bill in there as well somewhere. I can't remember what cousin he is. Apparently, Alan Shepard, the astronaut, is some cousin of mine as well. My favorite poet, Robert Frost, is some distant cousin. So anywhere from like 7th cousin through to 16th cousin, I think they went to. They went 16 generations, but they went back. And like they have stuff in my tree. I haven't even gone back that far. On some of my trees, I was actually going through my tree, just like following, like I would, on my screen, I would have the PDF up of the chart for one person, and I would have it so I could just see my side of the tree. And I was like clicking back through my tree to see how far back I went in my tree compared to their tree. On some, I was only back like 4 generations. Others, I was 5, 6. On one of them, I was back 7 generations. So they were, and there was that one was another 7 generations beyond what I had. So it was very interesting going through some of those today. And those are all from the fixed tree collection, which means there's a little more substance to those. So I was sort of like, oh, okay. So now I'm kind of like, I wonder how I can find out for my clients some of the stuff, because there's one client who has got a few historical things on one branch of the tree. I'm like, I would love to be able to do this for her and put in that side and see if they can make the connection that I'm lacking. But every now and again I go in and have another look, see what other resources. But now I've got more resources in here. And on March 18th last year at like 7:20 something in the morning, there was a 5.7 magnitude earthquake in Utah. And at the big library that they have there, the director and the assistant director actually went for a walk there, and they were showing pictures. And there's books laying on the floor. There's a couple of ceiling tiles down on one thing. There's a light hanging down on another thing. And they're walking through there, and they're like, okay, we're closed, because they had closed a few days beforehand, like a week before, because of the global pause. So they were closed. So they looked at each other and said, there's nobody in here. We have to fix this stuff anyway. So they went through and renovated the entire building. And there's some areas that they're still in renovations on, but they've like brightened up the whole place, because they were showing before pictures and after pictures. This is what it used to look like. We've got rid of all these old brown tables. We've now got these nice clean surfaces to work on. There's now stations you can go to, and there's 2 monitors sitting there. Like, 2 monitors? Yes. Oh, and by the way, if you want to, you can actually pull the table up and you can stand. So you can either sit down at the table, or you can stand and have it as a standing table, and you've got 2 monitors there. Oh, I've got this little bank of plugs over here where you can plug in your laptop, you can charge your phone, and I'm like, this is cool. And then they have what they call the dog bones. So if you look above, it's like 2 Ys where they're sharing the same leg. Think of a dog bone. And in their little cubicles that they've got in this dog bone thing, there's 3 monitors. And I'm like, why do you need 3 monitors? It's in the it's in there, and they rearranged the floors. So they've got on the basement too. It's all international global books. On basement 1, it's global films, maps, and there was another global thingy in there. The main floor it's all turned into an interactive visitor center type thing where people can come in. They get like 4,000 people a day, and they were getting that a day. So being able to have the place empty and like go through and do all the renovations. And they've put this lounge in there for if you're there doing research. You've got this lounging area where you can go and have a break, and they've got like vending machines in there. They've got a microwave in there. They've got, a little sink, and it's like a little kitchenette thing in there. And they were showing the artist's rendition, and he said, we went in the other day and the floors are down and the walls are painted. So I'm like, so you just basically got to put the furniture in. But they said, some areas aren't completely finished yet, but most of it is done. And I'm like, man, they really worked their butts off to get that done, especially during the time they were going through. So it's kind of cool. And then level 2 was, that was the US film library. And then level 3 is the US books. But you go in there and they said, this is what it was like before. It was like dark and like an old library feel. And they've opened it up. They've got more natural light coming into the place. They've got more lighting in there. But in these dog bone areas, they're on the microfilm floors, they have these dog bones that have 3 monitors on them. And one of the monitors is actually hooked up to a microfilm reader. Microfilm readers used to be these big boxes with the screen here, and you'd put it in, and you put it on one side and whiz it through and all that. No, this is a little, looked like about this big. It was this little compact thing on the desk now that's now hooked to a computer monitor. And again, you can hook up your laptop, you can charge your phone. They've got the extra outlets for you and all that. Like, this is so cool what they have done to the place. Well, because they had an earthquake and they had a global pause going on, so they had the time and the empty building to go through and be able to do all this. That was kind of cool. But learned about, what else did we learn about? Oh, the collections that they have, the different collections that you can go into, and all the books and stuff. And they have these really cool services where you can actually spend, you fill out this form and you can have a 20-minute consultation with one of their researchers. So you can say, this is where my blockage is. This is the person I'm researching. This is all the information I have. Where do I go next? And you can have a 20-minute consultation, and they give you a research path. How cool is that? But they are right on point with those 20 minutes because they're like back-to-back calls. And you're allowed one a week. You're allowed 1 call a week. I'm like, so you could do 52 calls a year. Wow, awesome. Oh, what's the name? Okay, hang on. Don't look up there. And then they have a lookup service. So the lookup service is because they realized that people couldn't come to the library during the closing and everything else, so they found other ways around it. So they started up this consultation service, and now that the library's open again, it's such a huge hit that they're actually going to keep it going because they know that there's a lot of people who, for whatever reason, can't get to Utah, can't get into Salt Lake to go to the library themselves. So now they have access to, and all these services are free. It's all free, and I'm like, this is so cool. And then they've got a lookup service. So if there's a particular book that you need access, you want something copied out of a book for you, like you found the book that some ancestor is in or some relative is in, and it may be the index of a book that you want because you're pretty sure that they're in there, but you like a copy of the index. They will photocopy it. They will go scan it for you and send it to you. They will not do the research. You have to provide the book, the page, and what information you want copied out of there, and they will scan it for you and email it to you. And I'm like, this is, and that's all new service that's come in the last year. But then they were talking about they've got a community set up now where you've got like chat boards where you can go in and ask questions, and if you need translations done, you can upload your translations, and people will come who are part of that group will come in and help you with the translations and stuff. And they were taking us through this stuff, and then familiar stuff was popping up for me, like, oh my gosh, I was looking for something like that for a client. Oh my gosh, that's over there. I was looking for that for a client. So I've got these screeds of notes, and I'm sitting here, of course, with my different colored pens, and I'm writing out these notes, and I'm sort of like pulling out my pink. My pink was my warning one. I was pulling out my pink pen, and I was writing in there, check this out for, and putting the client's name down. Check this out for, and put the client's name down. Or go here and look at this. And so I've got these little reminders through there. But it was, the amount of time we spent on this moment was so worth it. But my brain is like, the information coming in, it was really, really good information. And most of them, except for one guy, had handouts, and they'll put the link in the thing. So I've got all the PDFs downloaded so I can go back through and read their notes again. And they did have one guy who had a little technical challenge with it, but the director was like in all the sessions, and he was talking this guy through it, and you could see the giggles going on across the room. It was like, he's telling him click here, and I'm like, in my head I could see where he had to click and all this sort of stuff, and then he had a PowerPoint up, and then it disappeared, and it was a mess. He was like almost 15 minutes late starting, and that was going into our lunch break, thank goodness. And so he actually got through the presentation in like 20 minutes. So it wasn't that far into the lunch hour that we had to go. But really, really good information today in like how to use their search things. Do you want to search, what records do you want to search? And they've actually got a lot more on there that you could actually go and search now from when I last used it. So I'm sort of like, this is probably going to become one of my major, after learning more about it, I have used it on and off over the years, and every now and again I'll go in there and have a look for something if I'm stuck. I think I try to use it for like hints and things, but there's just so much on there now, stuff I didn't even know existed in there. And they're the ones that did that genealogy game, like that's like Jeopardy but for genealogy. And you can see how many people out of your tree, how many generations out of your tree would you like to go? And I'll be like 4. And then the other day, I don't know what happened. I guess I just left it at the default of 5. And I'm in there and I'm like, this question pops up and I'm like, they're not in my first 3 generations or my first 4 generations. And I'm like, oh my God, did I leave it at 5? So you can do that. And then they have a Wheel of Fortune where you've got to guess who the name is in your ancestry. So they're pulling this information out of your tree, which is kind of cool. So it's been a really good day. After that was all done, my call at 3 o'clock did not show up. I was like, darn it. No, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock was a 2 o'clock call because it was straight off that into that. And they didn't show up. And I was like, dang. And so I thought, I'll go get the mail. And so, of course, I'm getting ready. Then a friend calls, and so I had a conversation with her on the phone. And I'm still getting ready and stuff. And Zephy said, oh, we're going somewhere? And I was like, by the time we got off the call and everything, and we had to go, I was like, I really can't. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't leave her here now because she's like had this expectation that she's going to come. Normally when I'm going, I'm like bang, 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 and out the door. Yeah, no, this was like, yeah. So I thought, let's just go for a drive. And I thought, well, hang on, I have 3 car fobs. I have 3 fobs for my car. So if I've got the engine running, the AC blowing, I can leave her in there. Can I lock the car? No, you cannot. You can lock all the doors except the driver's door. The driver's door will not lock when the engine is running. And I'm like, damn it, can't it tell I'm outside? But no, it will not let you, if the engine is running, it will not let you lock the driver's door. I even tried manually locking the driver's door and it just popped open again. Dang on. And so, because she was already in the car, we went for a drive around the block and came back and dropped her off and threw on Born Identity, and left that going for him. Basically came in, got her all settled, and threw her treats around that I normally do. And then like 5 minutes later, I was out the door, went and got the mail, came back, and it took me 40 minutes there and back. I'm like, yes. It's getting quicker. And it wasn't less traffic either. But I wanted to get back pretty quick because there was thunderstorms looming, the big dark clouds for the thunderstorms and stuff. It's like, yay. But I did pull in that awning before I left in case the wind came up. Didn't want to come home to a broken awning. And now I can't tell if the wind's blowing because I would look out at all the palm trees and I could see them swaying and everything else. They've been trimming all the trees, and you now go for a drive around the thing, and you always tell where the palm trees are because there's big piles of palm fronds on the ground underneath the trees, and you look up and there may be 2 or 3 fronds left on the top of the tree, and I'm like, really? So you have this big tall tree and it's got just these two little looks like a brand new shoots out of the top of the tree. It's hilarious. But I guess it's the palm tree trimming time or something. So we've done that, and I've just done some research this afternoon, and it's been a good day. And tomorrow I basically have it off till like 4 o'clock when I got to get an orientation. And then, of course, Monday morning, we're into everything. So tomorrow I am probably not going to do it tonight because my brain's just like
and firing off in all directions. But tomorrow I'm probably going to sit down with I am going to sit down with my textbooks tomorrow and go through and do my pre-class flagging of the textbooks for when we get into class and stuff on Monday morning. So, but that doesn't start till 7:30. So I'm just like, thank goodness for that. So anyway, have a super fantastic. So that's my day. A lot of shake up today. Learned a lot of new things that I didn't know was there before, only because I probably didn't go playing around in the system. And it was really funny because one of the guys there, he's getting something up about Ireland, getting the Irish stuff up or something. And all the people who work with him were like, come on, just get it up there, just get it up there. And so I was telling him, so I chimed in and says, we have a saying, it's production before perfection. If you wait for it to be perfect, it ain't going to happen. He's like, yeah, I know. He says, but I go to put up and I think, oh, I've got to put this. I said, then put it up and then go add that. And other people were chiming, yeah, just get it up there, get it up there. So this poor guy got badgered to get his, whatever it was he was doing about Ireland, to get it up and running. And he said, but what if all the mistakes and everything else? I said, then you put the disclaimer there that the site is up. Yes, we are still working on getting everything up and running. So please be patient, as there are things that are going to be broken. If you find anything broken, please, click here and let us know what's broken. But be aware that there are some links that aren't working. There's, we're aware that there are going to be problems and bugs. And I said, I'm pretty good at breaking systems if you want me to go in and look at it for you. So I've tested, working for a computer company years ago. One of my jobs was they would get a new program up and running and then tell me kind of how it worked. And then I got to go in and play and break it. And they wanted me to go in and literally break the system. Because they wanted me to go through every single click menu, whatever, every command that they gave me, they wanted me to go try out and all of that. So I got pretty good at that, bringing in a new system for us at work. And like we had the new help desk coming in, and the new system for the help desk, they had the contracts in there and everything. And I was going to be the admin for New Zealand. I remember sitting there and they're giving us the training. As they're giving us the training, I go, well, this link doesn't work. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, well, you told me to click here and click here and click here. So I did that and nothing's happening. And they said, but it was working before. I said, not now. So yeah, we had a lot of stuff like that during the onboarding of that system. And yeah, I tended to find all of the, And then I have a client who was installing a new CRM, and as we're going through it, it says, well, if I click here and want to see this, why doesn't it, where is the key that tells me what each of these colors are for? Why is it doing this? It doesn't make sense. And so there's little messages that got sent off to the support thing saying, hey, I went through this and this kind of didn't look right. It didn't work. It didn't flow. So yeah, there was stuff like that. And so I like to break systems. It was a lot of fun to go in and break a system. So I thought, if you want somebody to break a system, I'll go do it. But anyway, that's it for me for tonight. Let us know what fun things you got up to today. What did you do to challenge yourself today? And what did you do to shake up your Saturday a little bit? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget that, my mugs are over there. I needed table space. We've got the 2 tumblers that we're putting in for a drawing where it'll be personalized with your name on it. It's a free drawing. You just go to havetowin.com and you'll receive a free copy of Family Tree Decoded, the article, What Unicorns Can Teach You About Magic, and 5 easy ways to make your life more exciting. So with that, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys back tomorrow morning for Serenity Sunday. Hey, Konera.